Hi, friends. This is Piyush from Admit Card. Welcome to the webinar on life beyond the universities in various countries abroad, including US, Canada, and Australia. And maybe let's have a couple of introductions of people who are already joined in. And as you know, more people join in, we'll start with the content. So, guys, I'll give you a quick background of myself. I've worked abroad for about 4 years. I have studied in two countries apart from India. And I think some of those experiences were the most enriching experiences of my life. And not only did I make great friends, did I learn new languages, did I eat variety of foods, had a great experience and helped me build my personality and become more confident in whatever I do. And just there were about 20 people from various countries who came to my marriage, and these are all the friends that I made while I was studying abroad and working abroad as well. So, guys, who are those of you who have already joined in, would you like to give an introduction of yourselves? Just maybe you can type on the side and let me know what do you expect out of this webinar. Rihan, yes, you are going to NJIT in US. That's a great choice, Rihan, and thanks for joining in. Purohit, you are going to University of Sydney. That's again a top ranked university. I was there last week and I met with a professor, their head of discipline from international business, and very positive vibes from the campus and the faculty both. Rimi, hi Rimi. Yes, you are also going to US. Okay, that's great. That's great. Uh, so, guys, I think let's start, and we'll go along as more people join in. And let me start with sharing my feedback that I from my experience of studying abroad, of counseling more than 1,000 students, of talking to a lot of students who are already studying in those countries. Uh, last 2 weeks, I was actually on Australia and connecting with some of the mentors who are on our platform. And so, whatever I'm going to share today is in a way directly from the horse's mouth. So yeah, I mean, if I say, the one and the most important thing that you need to look at beyond your education at universities and these universities is foremost is networking. Yes, and you will meet a lot of new people from very different countries, different cultures, and making friends with them, learning from their abilities, learning from them is very, very critical. Now, what we need to figure out is, how to, make friends, how to reach out to these people, because they are going to be your strength in the rest of your life. And when you're looking for jobs or when you're looking for headways into different opportunities, and then this network is going to be really helpful. So if you look at most universities will be organizing an orientation week. So that is one time when you meet a lot of people who are just coming in and everybody's trying to make friends. So don't miss your orientation week, and make the best use of that time, and connect with more and more people. Also, all along your coursework, you will be sitting in various classes. So, talk to your professors, talk to the other students in that class, especially the guys you'll be doing group work with, because then you'll be spending time together, and that way you can form great relationships. One kind of networking which is very helpful when you're going to be looking for jobs as well is with your seniors and your alumni. So if you're part of certain clubs, that is also very helpful because you get to connect with seniors who are already on your campus, as well as use LinkedIn and see your alumni who are in the nearby area, Ping them, try and meet them for coffee, especially the ones who are working in a similar domain as you, and try and make better relationships with them. I think this is one and the foremost most important thing that you should do beyond your studies in a foreign university, is to build long lasting relationships with people from various backgrounds and with seniors in your domain of work that you want to do. Apart from that, I think there are some very interesting things. It's a great opportunity. You have left your country. Now you are, in a place, meeting very, living in a completely new world. A lot of Indians, when I say, they come to the point where they, talk about food, and everyone is carrying kilos and kilos of food from back in India, taking with them to wherever they are going to study in US, Australia, Canada, and sometimes at the border your pickles or some of the cooked food gets also taken away from you, and you feel very bad. But don't be bothered about it. If most of these countries, especially if you are going to big cities, there are many Indian restaurants. So if you're really after Indian food, then you will get more options for eating Indian food in most of these large cities. In Sydney and Melbourne, I'm a vegetarian. I practically ate every meal, very easily, and there are a lot of other cultures whose restaurants are also available. So, for example, Indonesian, Thai, Vietnamese, Mexican, Chinese, and there is a lot of variety because these cities that you're going to have a very multinational population. So you will have the opportunity to try food of various other countries. And everywhere you will have both vegetarian and non-vegetarian options. So that is one way. I think one thing you should definitely experience, apart from new people, but also new kind of food that you should definitely try. Also, when you're living with other people in shared accommodation, when you're living especially with people of other countries, try and learn some things, new things to cook, because in the long term, when you're having an international career, you will be working with an international team, and these are things which help you connect with each other at a very personal level. Apart from that, one other thing which I would suggest, and I really benefited from it as well, is to learn new languages, and be comfortable with the different accents, even in, like, for example, in English, that you come across. So for example, while the time I was working in Mexico, I picked up Spanish over there, and that really helped me grow faster in my career, as well as when I'm traveling now. I had about a month trip in South America, and that's where I was able to really use my language skills to enjoy and connect with more people. Apart from that, I learned basics of Mandarin while I was there in China for about 6 months, and even that is very helpful now, because when we meet with certain people who are very senior in the investment space, and they have counterparts from China, and just simple meet and greet, sharing a little bit about yourself, telling a bit about your university, really helps in connecting with them. And those language skills really set you apart and help you differentiate. And especially if you are going to other countries like Germany and France, where they will really be a big asset for you. Otherwise, also, Australians will speak in a very different accent. Canadians will speak very differently from Americans, but speak, depending on where you are in US, they will also have various different accents. So get familiarized, yourself with them, and the good ways again to talk to those people, and don't be shy. One more part, a part is which where I found, and I met a lot of students this time in Australia, is how we are so protected in India, and things are so much, we take a lot of things for granted, like washing clothes, like cooking our food, like washing dishes, cleaning our homes, doing the laundry, all of this, and everything is taken care of by our families, or we hire somebody to take care of those things for us. When you're studying, these things are very expensive to get professional help for that. So if you are doing them on your own, then it gives a lot of independence. Be stay prepared for, that will become a important part of your life, but also that also helps you become very independent, and you stop relying on small help that you need, and you're always dependent on other people for managing your day to day life. Now this gives a lot of confidence to you to take a more independent way of life. So I'm saying that don't be kind of afraid of it, but think of it as a positive value added into your life, and then that is definitely going to be a new experience for you, and add to your personality and confidence. Also, and I'm saying that sometimes especially me, I would get too focused on the studies that I'm doing in the university, and would have limited spend limited time in actually exploring the city or the nearby surroundings. So that is another one thing which is really great in all these countries like US, Australia, and Canada, that you have fantastic places to visit. You should definitely take out some time to get to know the surroundings. US has some really nice national parks. It has some very famous world travel sites in New York, and in California and Florida. Uh, I know I personally really like going to LA, and to visit the Universal Studios there. People go to Orlando for the Disney, the Disney park, and New York has some really great sites like Statue of Liberty, Times Square, the Rockefeller Center. So just knowing and understanding these places is also a great experience, because you travel with your friends, and you get to explore different culture through their history, through what they take pride in, and that is also, I think, quite an interesting part of life beyond universities in these countries. Um, One thing I would also suggest, and I was getting a very strong feedback around that, was having how important is local experience and local references in getting opportunities in these countries like US and Australia and Canada. So while you're studying, don't get stuck to your university. Try to do part-time work, even if it is a blue-collar job, and don't get stop yourself from working at a 7-Eleven or a McDonald's, because it's really going to help you become part of that society, and you'll be more comfortable in dealing with people over there, and it teaches you life skills. So doing a part-time job or an internship or a volunteership, any which way you can be part of a professional organization and gain some local experience, work with some local people who can give you references, is again an important part, which is going to help you not only meet your requirements for managing your living expenses, but also for in the long term when you're looking for jobs, it is going to add more benefit for you, add more weight to your resume and your experience, preferably in the domain of your studies. But if not, even if you are doing a retail, working at a retail store, or a restaurant, or at a library, even those experiences are helpful. uh, Lastly, I think there are the student unions in these universities that you'll be going for are really, really active, and they organize a lot of events and get-togethers, and people come and join them for different parties, for free food, and they create these events for small activities. They'll have a dance club, they'll have a theater club, they'll have various sports, including chess to cricket to football to rugby and soccer, and there are going to be many, many things that you can do while you are engaging with these student communities. And I think that is another thing which you should always keep a keep an open mind on. You'll be getting these on the university dashboards, and your own email, you'll be keep getting notifications about it, so do participate in them, and that will add more fun to your life. and will be a more all-rounded experience apart from just studies. Uh, that's all, guys. I'm happy to take any questions that you have. Looking forward to answering more specific queries that you may have, and however I can help you. Happy to share. So we have one question, quite a little while back from Shubham. Sir, how are the visa process going to vary with social media information asked during visa process? I have anything except LinkedIn, but still just curious what kind of information they are expecting. So, frankly, if you are a data science analyst, you can derive a lot of information from our social media, profiles. And it's like saying that I have if you go to my Facebook, you'll probably see only happy birthday posts annually, and that too from a couple of guys, because my birthday is not visible. And then that might just show that I am somebody who's not very social, right? And although I just maybe that I'm not very active on social media platforms. So don't worry about it. I think there is nothing really that you need to prepare or hide, or just let it be there, because it's also now starting out, and I don't think there's any specific guidelines as to why it may or may not be used. I think it's an over exaggerated move, but yes. So I don't think you need to really worry about it. If you have a LinkedIn profile, that's great. It already is mentioning all the things that you've done, which would already be part of your application that you have submitted. So I think you don't really have to be bothered. Just share whatever you have. Don't hide. Don't exaggerate and create either. Suyash Mandana, I wanted to know how Ireland is for MS in CS or data science. Plus, is it worth going there, especially talking about Trinity and UCD in Dublin? Suyash, I think that's a great program that you are looking for. MS and CS is a great course. Anywhere in the world, computer science is one domain where you have job opportunities available all around the world. UCD in Dublin specifically has very good industry connect. It's a very reputed university. Its alumni base is growing very strong, and it's kind of getting very well recognized in India as well. So even if you plan on coming back to India, it's again a great a great university. MS and CS, why is it becoming more popular in Ireland? I think you would have read it otherwise as well, that there are a lot of technology companies which are opening offices in Dublin. They have already opened offices in Dublin. They're making them their European headquarters. They are primarily housing the data of these companies, and that is the reason why both data science as well as CS courses are very important, are very helpful and useful in UCD. I'll give an example of one of our mentors, Varun Garg. He did a 1-year master's in negotiated learning, computer science and negotiated learning from UCD. And in 6 months, he's already now working with Vodafone with a salary of about 40,000 euros. So he had 2-3 offers, and now he's picked up one that is he found to be the most useful for him. So I think that's one good way of, I think that's a great place, depending on your budget and your overall objectives. I think Ireland is a great destination. Ashwini, I want to know about the Germany certificate in academic. If I have 55% in bachelor and I have 6 backlogs, then I think it's kind of deviated from the topic a little bit, but yeah, still let's talk about so basically, if you have 55% in bachelor. Germany, if you are looking for their public universities, I think with 55% and 6 backlogs, I don't think you can get into a TU system. Depending on the course, it might still be okay, but I don't think if you're going for top engineering programs, which typically why people choose Germany, it is going to be quite difficult. Rishabh, sir, I want to go for MS and AI ML, later maybe PhD. I want to decide which country. So Rishabh, I'll suggest that if you're looking for PhD, then pick US, because that's the country which has maximum funding available for research. and has some of the best PhD guidance available. So I would suggest United States for that. Vishesh, hi sir, which country is good to go? US, Canada, Australia. I'm a bit confused. I think it's very generic, Vishesh. If I talk about student life, I think you'll have a great life in all three countries. All three countries have great places to visit, have great places to enjoy. All three of them receive students from all over the world, and you will have a very international experience. Mr. Saneja, can you please tell me which country in Europe has a good scope for digital marketing? Will Ireland be a good option if I have 2 years of experience in the same? So again, today only I was discussing about digital marketing in Ireland, and TCP has a very good program. My suggestion would be that gain relevant experience in this domain, because there's going to be a lot of competition. 2 years of experience working with a small digital agency may or may not be sufficient. So do consider getting more certifications from Google or Facebook, or doing a bit more preparation before you go. For digital marketing, I would suggest go to an English-speaking country, because a lot of the times you need to understand the local nuances, especially in the language. So if you are not very conversant in the language like French for France, then it will be a bit difficult. Shubham, we had a previous webinar previously that detailed on all steps related to visa process in the US. How different is that for Canada? Do we have I-27, etc.? Basically, how different it is from US visa process. So, Shubham, I think the visa process is completely different across countries. Again, it is not a question related to the topic that we are discussing today, but I'll still quickly answer. For Canada, they have an SDS process, which is student direct scheme, where you apply for the visa now online. So again, earlier it was a offline process. Now they've made it completely online, where you just have to go and deposit your documents, and that's all. So now you file the visa online in Canada. You don't need an I-20. You need offer letter from the university. That's it. There is no SEVIS or any of these documentation. There is a separate GIC account, which is a account that you need to deposit, where you need to deposit money for your living expenses. So there is a medical examination. So the process is completely different. It has got absolutely nothing to do with the US process. You can have a separate webinar, and I'll suggest my team to have a separate webinar on the same. And guys, to keep knowing about what webinars are coming, just check the links on subscribe and subscribe to our channel, so that you keep getting notifications of which webinars are coming your way, so that you can choose and pick which ones you want to join. Also, if you have any specific questions, this seminar was more about experiences of students beyond studies in these universities. But if you want to get specific guidance, there's a link to our website below, and you can just click on that link, provide your profile, and our team will get in touch with you. And we'll be happy to help in any which way. Thanks, Shubham. You have one more follow-up question. What are your tips on saving money while living in US and Canada? I think I this time and more in Australia. That's where I was last couple of weeks. The one way people are saving money is by eating food at gurudwaras and churches, and sharing rooms with multiple people. They walk to go to the free tram zone. They share a lot of the facilities with their friends and try to reduce costs. But what I found to be most effective, especially in Canada and Australia, would be to take up a good part-time job. Usually take the night shift, so that it doesn't interfere with your day activities. Do a night shift for some time during the weekends, because that's when you get paid the highest. And even if students who are working for 2 hours, 2 days in a week, they are able to make enough to survive, to make enough money for their weekly living expenses. Ayush, what are sandwich and foundation programs in US and other countries? Ayush, I think, yeah, again, these are programs which help you to, fulfill the requirement, the foundation programs. If your GPA is low or your English score is less than required, what is the minimum requirement of that particular course? So you take a foundation program and then graduate to the main degree. Sandwich programs typically have work placement as a year in between. France is very popular for their sandwich MIMs, Masters in Management. Abhishek, I want to study abroad Germany for Masters of International Relationship. So please guide me and with full scholarship. Abhishek, if you are having a good profile, Germany typically is not requiring any tuition fee because their state universities are free. But yes, you'll have to prepare well and have a good application, right? So thank you guys. I think we're already almost running out of time. I'm sorry if I skipped any of your questions. If you wish to talk more about things and you would want to engage more, want me to talk about some of more of my experience and specific to certain knowledge, just go click on the link below, sign up, and share your details, and our team will get in touch with you and will help you with any information required from planning to finally moving to that ecosystem anywhere in the world, be it US, Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Ireland, anywhere you want to apply. AdmitCard is there to help you out. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining in. It was a fun session for me, and see you next time with more informative talks. All right, guys.